For the Chicago Bulls, Patrick Williams has been a huge letdown to where some people have even called him a bust, which brings the question that I'm going to talk about today. Why haven't we seen Patrick Williams grow like the other players on the Chicago Bulls, like Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu? Then I'm going to go ahead and do a quick breakdown of the Bucks game tonight. Y'all know we're going to talk about it, but you got to hear the music first.
Cognac, gang.
Shy Bulls podcast with the Cognac Boys. I'm Cognac Boy Bobby, and I'm holding it down on another episode of Shy Bulls podcast for me and my co-host C-Dub. If you like what you're listening to today, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so every time we drop, you'll be one of the first ones to know. Now, shout out to the Chicago Bulls for getting a win last night, but I want to talk about the young guys on the Chicago Bulls that we have seen grow up in front of our eyes. And one player specifically who really is kind of just becoming the forgotten son, the stepchild, per se, on the Chicago Bulls. And that guy's Patrick Williams. That guy is now Patrick Williams, the guy that was selected 4th overall a few years back. I know a lot of people have brought it up. Man, we selected this guy over Tyrese Halliburton. Man, we selected this guy over Tyrese Maxey. And Patrick Williams has not panned out so far with this time with the Chicago Bulls. Is this another situation where it looks like Larry marketing? I don't believe so, because with the Chicago Bulls, Larry marketing actually was pretty damn decent. Obviously, different circumstances, more playing time, less veterans surrounding him, but he was still pretty good for the Chicago Bulls, but before he eventually departed. Patrick Williams, on the other hand, is coming in and totally different situation for him in his young career. But I still believe that with all things considered, if he's that type of player, he should have kind of carved out what he's going to look like in the NBA. I know me and my co-host C-Dub, we came on here plenty of times like this season is going to define on who Patrick Williams is going to be. There's no more holding hands with this guy. There's no more we're going to make excuses about roster construction, Billy Donovan giving him opportunities and things like that. He has to show up in some way or some way, somehow, so we can go ahead and really evaluate what this guy is going to be. I don't know if that pressure on Patrick Williams started out early because, a lot of people was like, man, this guy, he looks like a mini Kawhi Leonard out there, the way that he's built, his stature, his attributes. He can defend. He can shoot the three, going 40% over the three-point line last season. So you look at those different things and you be like, man, he probably could eventually look like a Kawhi Leonard, but he has to put it on wax, as I always say. He has to put it on wax for his sake. And as of right now, in his young career, he has not done so. We've seen glimpses of Patrick Williams and the things he may be capable of, but those moments, let's keep it a buck, those came when he didn't really have his starters alongside him, to where he didn't really have a choice but to elevate his game. You know what I'm saying? So I'm trying to sit here and try to piece a few things together. Is it something going on mentally with him? And we can't, in my personal opinion, we can't continue to just say he's in his head. Maybe he's just not it. Could he eventually become something? Absolutely. It's still early in the season. It's still 10. They only played 10 games thus far. But right now, that clock is tick, 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 ticking on Patrick Williams. And I know that some people, they will come up and say, hey, Bobby, but what about the roster? You know what I'm saying? DeMar DeRozan is kind of holding him back. We know Patrick Williams is really a 3, but the Bulls got him playing a 4. And I understood that, and I still kind of understand it. But can you not map out a way for yourself to be productive and a consistent guy in this league? If you know that majority of your shots are going to go to your big 3, you have other opportunities to make your presence felt within the game. And let's keep it a buck. every game, one of those big three don't show up. Like, it's very seldom that we get into a Chicago Bulls game. You say, damn, the big three, they all went out. You know what I'm saying? It's very seldom that happens. Even last night, Zach LaVine, he put up 19 points. If Patrick Williams was in that situation, he was supposed to go ahead and, make his presence felt, i.e., like a Coby White. And then I know there's DeMar DeRozan factor, the Zach LaVine factor that's going to go ahead and take shots away from him, and rightfully so. But you still have other ways to affect the game. The reason I'm harping on that is because I listened to an interview by DeJounte Murray yesterday, to be exact. And he spoke on Kawhi Leonard when those two guys were in San Antonio. Kawhi Leonard sat next to him and was like, hey, don't worry about trying to be a scorer. Defense is going to keep you on the court. Go get your ass out there and go get you and go make an all defensive team. And if you do that and stamp yourself as a defensive guy in this league, the coaches won't have a choice but to play you more minutes, and then your offense can go ahead and flow and thrive. That same sentiment can be applied to Patrick Williams in a way. Go and stamp yourself as a defensive guy. You don't want to be aggressive offensively. Go stamp yourself as a menace on the defensive side of the ball with all your skills and attributes and, big hands, long arms, big body, strong body. Go stamp yourself in that manner, and then Billy Donovan doesn't have a choice but to play you more minutes. It's his why, if you look at another player on his team, Alex Caruso is so beloved. Alex Caruso is not the greatest offensive player, but what does he hang his hat on? That defensive side of the ball. He is a menace. Patrick Williams, you cannot tell me in this league, with all the things that we've seen, those glimpses of great defensive possessions, he can't lock in on that side of the ball. So the excuses are starting to run out with me, and I got to keep it a buck. The excuses are starting to run out with me. You can go ahead and you can be that guy that gets in and be dirty. Be that grit and grimy guy. You can go ahead and crash the boards more often than what he has been doing. He can attack the basket more often than what he was doing. Last night against the Detroit Pistons, we seen Patrick Williams have 6 attempts from the free throw line. That was the most aggressive I ever seen him. And that's just me, at least in that retrospect offensively. So he has to dig deep within his mind and eventually figure it out. But as of right now, that's not looking so bright, at least in the Chicago Bulls uniform. We can say we can move DeMar DeRozan out of the way, but as of right now, this season, the last 2 seasons, DeMar DeRozan ain't going nowhere yet. They ain't going nowhere yet. And we can say, hey, Billy Donovan, call more plays for him. Right. But if I'm the head coach and I'm calling more plays for him, and he has those open shots, he ain't taking them. What am I wasting my plays on him for? Keep it a buck, ladies and gentlemen. Keep it a buck. He's had opportunities to really thrive, and so far it's been let down after let down to the point to where we calling this guy passive P, to where we're talking more about his flowers as a child growing up than him putting the ball in the basket. Because if you look at his other contemporaries on this team, you look at Coby White. Coby White, he came into this league, you know what I'm saying? He was viewed as that scoring guard, maybe more so a combo guard, had some starts under Jim Boylan next to Zach LaVine and et cetera, fell off of the starting, out of the starting lineup, became a role player, and worked his way up to where now he's a starter this season. Did it start out well? I would probably say no, it wasn't the greatest, but as of late, Coby White has been finding his way. Coby White has been finding his way. Since the Mavs game, Coby White has not scored under 10 points. That's 6 consecutive games over 10 points. And then in the last 4 games, he's had at least 5 assists, helping out. And he's been pretty damn efficient from the field and the 3-point line. I know the shooter percentage is still a little shaky right there. It's 30% on the season, but he has had some games where last night 3 of 6, and then a few games ago against the Jazz, he was 4 and 6. So I believe he will start to, establish himself. But the point is that He worked his tail off to get back here, and now we're seeing it on more of a consistent basis from Coby White. And he's doing this while playing point guard, trying to get himself together and still being effective in other ways. Coby White, when he doesn't have it going scoring, he's able to sit in that chair. He's been competing. That's what we want out of Patrick Williams. Even if we look towards Ayo Dosunmu came up in this league, guns blazing as a rookie. We love what he could do in transition. And even though the percentages dropped last year as far as efficiency from the field and the three-point line, he was still productive. And then, we seen last year the confidence in that three-point shot just kind of tail off a little bit. But this season so far, Ayo Dosunmu is shooting the ball with confidence. He's shooting the ball with confidence. And last night, he was on attack mode. And he filled in that Alex Caruso role pretty damn well. He looks like he's polishing himself up pretty damn nicely to be a legit role player and could eventually work himself up to being a starter again. But that's just it's still too early to decide that right now for this team. But the point is that Coby White and Ayo Dosunmu have put together enough solid performances to where they are outpacing Patrick Williams in this young player development thing that we looking at as far as why we looking at the Chicago Bulls in this bad. Patrick Williams, you got to get it together, young brother. You have to get it together because there are no excuses on why you can't put out some type of production for the Chicago Bulls, regardless of who is on the roster. You can make your presence felt in other ways. Find a niche and go with it. I think the niche needs to be on the defensive side of the ball. That's just how I'm looking at it. Become a menace there first, and then Billy Donovan will not have a choice but to give you more opportunities. But if you keep coming in these games, you're not seeing much action. You ain't doing much. You're only averaging 30% from the field, 22% from the three-point line. You might not get many opportunities after that because last year you played 28 minutes and this year you're only playing 22. So the trust in you is going down amongst your own coaching staff and people like me who want to see you thrive, my guy. So get it together. Y'all let me know how y'all feeling about this. Am I making sense? Do you agree with it? Do you agree? Do you disagree with it? And let me know why. We'll chop it up down below. But before we go, I want to talk a little bit about the Milwaukee Bucks. The Chicago Bulls tonight face the Bucks. The Milwaukee Bucks are 5-4 in the season. They kind of been up and down so far within their first 9 games. And our 10 games, the Chicago Bulls were 4-6. We've been up and down as well. But tonight, we looking at a Milwaukee Bucks team. You know what I'm saying? You still got to worry about with Giannis Antetokounmpo. Right now, we don't know if Damian Lillard is going to play, but you still have to prepare as if he's going to play. And you have to, get string together some wins because the Chicago Bulls, they have a lot of favorable games that they can win and kind of like get on the roll moving forward. But this game right here is going to be all about how do the Bulls slow down Giannis Antetokounmpo because you're not stopping him, but how do you slow him down? How do you not let Pat Connaughton come out and be a force that he always is against the Chicago Bulls? Who steps up? Is Alex Caruso going to be back? That's still to be determined. But the point is that we need Zach LaVine to show up. We need another good game, great game out of DeMar DeRozan. And I want to continue to see Ayo Dosunmu get minutes and be able to flourish within this and do what they got to do. The Chicago Bulls have been pushing the pace in transition and definitely capitalizing off turnovers. They are second in the NBA off points scored. In points scored off turnovers. So they got to go ahead and get gritty, get in those passing lanes and be able to see what they can do so they can make sure they come out this game as the victor tonight. You got to go ahead and put it on wax, go out there, play solid defense. And I ain't even going to lie to you. If you got to build the wall, build the wall. I don't give a damn if it's the Great Wall. Build the wall and try to slow Giannis Antetokounmpo down. You're going to be on the road. It's a bus drive up to Milwaukee. Y'all got to be ready to go, lock in and loaded and ready to play. Hey, who wins tonight? Y'all let me know because I'm still thinking on it because these will be the games that the Chicago Bulls typically let fall, especially against the Milwaukee Bucks because Giannis Antetokounmpo has some property in the Chicago Bulls head. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie. But hey, that's it for me today, man. Make sure you tune. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and shake the notification bell. If you want to go ahead and call in and leave a take on this video or anything that we discuss or something that's just fresh on your mind so you could be a part of a mailbag episode, call in 773-242-9219. It's another episode of Shy Boys Podcast. I'm Bobby. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure.
Cognac. Gang.